Kimi Todoke, From Me to You is a romance shoujo manga by Karuho Shiina. It has been published by Shueisha and Bessatsu Margaret since 2005 and collected in 21 tankōbon volumes as of March 2014. In 2008, it won the Best Shoujo Manga Award in the 32nd Annual Kodansha Manga Award. The series was also nominated for the first Manga Taisho Awards in 2008. 2 anime adaptations of Kimi Todoke were aired in Japan, produced by Production I.G. The second season of the anime was announced in Betsuma Magazine, began airing in Japan on January 4, 2011 and lasted for 12 episodes. A live-action film adaptation was released in 2010 starring Mikako, Tabe and Haruma Miura. Plot: Sawako Kuronuma, dubbed Sadako by her classmates for her resemblance to the character from The Ring, has always been feared and misunderstood because of her appearance. Rumors around school report that she can see ghosts and curse people. However, despite her ominous appearance, she is actually a sweet and timid girl who only longs to be able to make friends and be liked by everyone else. When her idol, the popular boy Kentsuya, begins talking with her, everything changes. She finds herself in a new world, making new friends and talking to different people, and she can't thank Kentsuya enough for giving her these opportunities. Slowly, but surely, a sweet love blossoms between the two as they overcome circumstances and obstacles that stand in their way. Characters: Sawako Sadako Kuronuma, voiced by Mamoru Noto, Mikako Tabe. Sawako is a shy yet honest girl in search of friendship, but her resemblance to the horror film character Sadako Yamamura makes this difficult. Her shy and modest nature prevents her from correcting people's misconceptions, to the point that most of the school believes her name is, in fact, Sadako. She is rather short, a characteristic inherited from her father, who is only 160 centimeters tall, but during a soccer match at the school's sports festival, it is revealed that she is surprisingly fast, to the point that some people believe she is teleporting. A running gag is that she takes everything people say very seriously, and tends to overanalyze a situation. When she is deep in thought, her dark appearance often terrifies her peers. Sawako has always desired friends and acceptance, and thanks to Kentsuya's kindness, she gradually begins to open up to her classmates and talk to different people. She is eternally grateful for Kentsuya, and idolizes him for giving her the opportunities to make so many close friends, which come to include Yano, Yoshida, Kentsuya and Raya. Forever humble and unassuming, Sawako is so modest towards her newfound friendships that Yoshida actually has to tell her point blank, "Did you know?" without realizing it. "We were already friends." CHA 7, Yano and Yoshida admit that Sawako's like for Kentsuya is probably stronger than the like she expresses for themselves. In Chapter 34, CHA 34, Kentsuya practically confesses his feelings right in front of her, but the modest Sawako believes it is just a misunderstanding and that he simply likes her as a friend. CHA 35, after everything is cleared up, the couple officially starts dating. CHA 40, though rumors pop up that Sawako somehow used black magic to get him. In Chapter 71, she overhears her classmate asking if Shota and her are steadily dating, and she becomes confused about their relationship. After Shota turns away when she grabs his coat, she cries and admits that she wants to be with him, and asks if he is still in love with her. In her shock, Shota kisses her 4 times. Shota Kentsuya, voiced by Daisuke Namikawa, Haruma Miura. Kentsuya is Sawako's outgoing and friendly classmate, and also her idol. His popularity is so widespread that during middle school, the many girls that liked him had to form a Kentsuya as everyone's alliance in order to maintain some level of peace among his admirers. More than half of these girls now attend his high school. Kentsuya falls in love with Sawako shortly after meeting her, and admits his feelings, unaware that she feels the same for him. CHA 17, 44, during their second year of high school, he begins to wonder if she actually does like him after she does not give him chocolates on Valentine's Day, not knowing that she had been too nervous to give him any. CHA 30, 46, after the ordeal, he seemingly becomes calmer and shows a depressed and expressionless face more often. However, after being confronted by Ryan and Pin, Katsuya goes to Sawako as his friends jokingly remark that he likes Sawako. However, Katsuya takes the remark seriously and agrees, subsequently confessing directly to Sawako. CHA 34. However, after Sawako's misunderstanding of his confession, he believes she rejected him. However, in Chapter 40, he was finally able to confess his feelings to her, and they are officially dating. CHA 40. Katsuya is prone to become easily jealous and overprotective of Sawako, and deeply treasures her. On chapters 60+, he seems to avoid Sawako because he wants to be careful in loving her because on chapter 58, the two almost kissed if only Aoin didn't come and he is worried that Sawako may end up thinking too much about it. On chapter 71, when the party ended, he just asked Sawako if she's going home and left, then Sawako grabbed his coat and closed her eyes, which she did on part 1 of the anime that she thinks can resolve things. He turned away, which made Sawako cry and make her say that he is a liar/cheat because he once said that he won't hold back. After saying such things, he regretted it, and when she starts asking if he is still in love with her, he quickly kisses her and again and again. Aoin Yano, voiced by Miyuki Sawashiro, Natsuna Watanabe. Aoin is a close friend of Sawako. She is arguably the most mature of the group, and she has a boyfriend in college as well as having her ears pierced multiple times. CHA 18. Initially Shiina conceived of Yano and Yoshida as a pair, and in the first 2 chapters the two are difficult to tell apart. Vol. 1, she then redrafted the characters, combing Yano's hair and styling it in a fashion that looks like a ponytail. Kurumi starts a rumor that Aoin played around with more than 100 guys in middle school, and that she and Yoshida are thug underlings of Sawako's in high school. Vol. 2, perceptive and intelligent, Aoin tends to take just enough information to leave others wondering, thus forcing them to move forward, this as well as being able to figure out that it was Yum who spread the rumors and discovering that Sawako liked Katsuya. CHA 14, 15. Although she is usually calm and collected, she is easily infuriated if someone hurts Sawako and does not hesitate to attack the one she believes is responsible with kicks and sharp words. She is also fairly intimidating when angry, being called scary by Chizuru a number of times. Later on she breaks up with her boyfriend, who had begun to become too possessive of her, calling her all times of the day, wondering what she had been up to, and checking if she had been with any guys. CHA 20, after she suggests they break up, he slaps her across the face, and when he tries to apologize and asks her back, she realizes that the man she liked was not her boyfriend but rather who he was when they started dating. CHA 20, after Sawako and Shōjo finally become a couple, Aoin comforts the girls that were potentially Sawako's rivals. CHA 43, 45. When Chizuru tells her she is too nice, Aoin denies it, but is surprised when Pin affirms she is nice, and she starts developing feelings for him. CHA 45. When schoolmate Moji confesses to her, she agrees to date him, which shocks everybody. CHA 54, 55. However, it appears that she is not in love with him, and her feelings towards Pin seem to increase. However, starting from chapter 59, it has been strongly hinted that Kento has feelings for Aoin. CHA 59, in chapter 71, she told Sawako that she'll go home with Kento. CHA 71, after that, Pin tells Sawako that maybe they got together already. CHA Chizuru Yoshida, voiced by Yuko Sanpei, Misako Renbutsu. Yoshida is another close friend of Sawako. She is the tomboy of the group, and she even admits this when Ryo calls them brothers, where she argues about who is the older rather than that she is not a brother. She can be very emotional at times, usually seen humorously crying after a touching moment between her friends. She has a soft spot for innocent-mannered people, so she takes a near-instant liking to Sawako. In Kurumi's fake rumors it was passed around that she was a former Yankee, though Chizuru just takes the rumor as a means of scaring people off or as a joke for her friends. CHA 4, One of the rumors states that Chizuru holds a record of 99 straight wins on being able to beat a guy on a one-on-one fight. Chizuru is mostly on the slower side of things. She did not realize that Sawako liked Ketsuya until after the Kurumi confrontation, CHA 17, and that Ketsuya liked Sawako until late in the series, after they started their second year of high school. CHA 33. She is a close childhood friend with Raya Sanada, her neighbor, and she went to the same middle school as Ketsuya and Raya. CHA 8. Because of this, Raya's family regards Chizuru and her family as their own and vice versa. CHA 8. She is a crush on Raya's brother, Toru, since she was very young, knowing the age gap between them. CHA 19. When Toru visits with his fiancé copyrightee, CHA 20, she realizes that he will only see their relationship as just siblings. CHA 23, she is very dense to the fact that Raya loves her, even interpreting him saying "I love you" as an expression of their friendship. When he confesses to her again, this time making it clear, it shocks her to the point where it becomes difficult to talk to him normally, as she never thought about him like that and believes that they can't go back to how they were before ever again. But she begins to grow feelings for Raya, and in chapter 88 she confesses to Raya and he kisses her. Raya Sanada, voiced by Yuichi Nakamura, Haru Aoyama. Raya is also a member of Sawako's group of friends. He is the son of the ramen shop owner of Chizuru Yoshida's favorite ramen shop. He is quiet most of the time and rarely talks, but still can communicate well with Sawako, as they both don't talk much anyways. Raya and Ketsuya became friends when they were on the baseball team during middle school. He is also close childhood friends with Chizuru and does not deny having feelings for her, such as simply smiling when Sawako asks if he and Chizuru are dating. CHA 8, he later confirms his love when he confesses that he likes Chizuru to Sawako. CHA 14, while his love is one-sided, he is very patient with Chizuru, realizing that Chizuru probably won't like him in a romantic sense, at least not right away. He's more than willing to comfort Chizuru if she's depressed, though he would rather have her mad at him as he knows Chizuru can vent out her emotions better. Ryan also seems to like animals a lot. When Shota was going to walk Mara, his adopted puppy, home with Sawako, Chizuru pulled Raya away, telling him he's going to walk with Arine and her instead. While being pulled away from Shota's puppy, he cried out for it. A running gag in the series is that he has a very hard time remembering a person's name. In chapter 43, he casually tells Chizuru that he loves her and she is totally shocked. CHA 43, however, in chapter 59, he truly confesses his love for her, but she replies saying, "I have never looked at you in that way." In response, he smiles and says, "I know." Kazuichi Pin Arai, voiced by Yaki Ono, Arata. Arai is the temporary homeroom teacher for Sawako's class, taking over when the previous homeroom teacher became sick during the summer holidays while Sawako was helping him. Sawako, being formal, always refers to him as Arai-sensei, while almost everyone else refers to him by his nickname, Pin. Pin is a great fan of baseball as well as the school baseball team's coach. He used to be part of Ketsuya's father's league team, so he has known Shota since when he was young. A loud and eccentric man prone to believing the silliest things, Pin apparently enjoys interrupting people. He nicknames the puppy that Sawako and Ketsuya find by the river Pedro Martinez after the legendary baseball pitcher, which Sawako suggests be shortened to Mara. A running gag through the series, despite being a teacher he is prone to actions that are more suited to a teenager, such as eagerly running to the bathroom when he heard about a fight yet became depressed when Sawako and her friends were making up rather than fighting. CHA 7, he and Arine tend to run into each other a lot, often bickering loudly as they walk away, though on rare occasions he will give her advice. He also has a false impression that Sawako is an exorcist. Vol. 2, but for how he acts, Arai is rather insightful and is very helpful when it comes to his students, especially when he was suggesting career paths for Sawako, Arine and Chizuru that best suit their talents and abilities. Pin also has a habit of believing girls in Sawako's year fancy him and often turns them down when they speak to him, stating that he's just too old for them. Kurumi Kurumizawa, voiced by Elia Hirano, Mirai Kiritani, a girl who appears friendly and sweet to everyone around her. She has had a huge crush on Ketsuya since their first year of middle school. As a result, she understands his personality well, despite the fact they were never close friends. She dislikes her given name, Yum, because it sounds old-fashioned and prefers to be called her nickname, Kurumi. CHA 11-17, Kurumi is extremely jealous of Sawako, which led her to spread fake rumors of Sawako's only friends at the time, Yoshida and Yano, using Sawako's name. Volley 4, Kurumi does not attend the same class as Sawako or Ketsuya. She eventually confesses her love to Ketsuya, but receives an expected rejection. CHA 17, because she is always surprised with Sawako's naivete copyright, Kurumi is able to be her true self in front of Sawako and regards her as a rival for Ketsuya's affection. CHA 17, following Ketsuya's rejection, she becomes colder to her classmates, but is able to finally express her feelings and personality. When Sawako hesitates on expressing her feelings, Kurumi tells Sawako that Sawako is not worthy of being a rival, but changes her mind after hearing that Sawako and Shōjo have become a couple. CHA 43, she even defends Sawako against some other jealous girls, and got angry at Miura Kento for saying unnecessary things to Sawako that had caused a rift between Sawako and Shōjo. CHA 43, despite Kurumi's harsh personality, she is deep down, a stubborn, clear-minded young woman who had stooped to unfair tricks to win a person's heart but has since learned better. Kento Miura, voiced by Mamoru Yano, a student who sits next to Sawako at the beginning of their second year. CHA 29, Miura considers himself fairly popular among the girls, but he immediately expresses an interest in Sawako that Ketsuya becomes a little jealous. CHA 29, Miura assumes Ketsuya likes Sawako because he feels sorry for her, and tries to persuade Ketsuya to not be as involved in Sawako's life. CHA 31, his interference with Sawako and Ketsuya's developing relationship irritates Arain. CHA. He expresses gratitude over the fact that the two began dating before he fell in love with her. CHA 51, in recent chapters, however, it hints that Kento may be developing a sort of attraction for Arain and has helped her through some difficult times. CHA. He tends to help girls with broken relationships. As he continues to grow feelings for Arain, he seeks advices from Sawako and Ketsuya. CHA. It is from Ketsuya that Kento finds out that Arain has been slapped by one of her ex-boyfriends. CHA. Tomoko Tomo Endo and Eriko Eko Hirano, voiced by Moriyuki Makaguchi, voiced by Mio Miyagawa. Endo and Hirano are classmates of Sawako, and also members of her study group. After Sawako begins to open up, Endo and Hirano become some of her first friends and try to find ways to encourage her to be less formal around them. They both become close friends of Sawako, who shows her appreciation of their friendship by making them Christmas gifts in addition to those she makes for her parents, Arain, Chizuru, and Ketsuya. Volley 6, Soichijo Jonichi, voiced by Masahiro Yamanaka, one of Sawako's classmates, easily swayed by other people. He generally appears in the background. Jaunouchi is very attached to Ketsuya, which usually results in him unwittingly interrupting conversations between Sawako and Ketsuya. At one point, he is rejected after confessing to a girl he liked and discomforted by Ketsuya. After hearing about how Yano broke up with her boyfriend, he sets his attention on her though she is not interested in him. Volley 6, it appears Joe is a character used for comedic value, often blundering with simple tasks or interrupting serious moments. CHA 39, he does not seem to take hints nor does he often realize his mistakes when they are pointed out. Toru Sanada, voiced by Wataru Hatano, Taru is Rya's older brother by 8 years and Chizuru's crush since she was young. CHA 19, although he is Rya's brother and they resemble one another, their personalities are nearly opposite. CHA 20, Taru resembles Ketsuya personality-wise and looks extremely refreshing, except much more mature. He lives 3 hours away from his parents' house, but much to Chizuru's surprise, on his visit with the family he introduced his fiancée. CHA 20, he cares about Raya and Chizuru a lot, and eventually tells Chizuru he loves her like a little sister. CHA 23, he calls Chizuru by the nickname Cher, because a person has to smile when saying it, and he wanted to cheer her up. CHA 23, Yoshiyuki Zenai, the original homeroom teacher of Sawako's class. He and Pin have the same surname, but are not related. To distinguish between the two teachers, Yoshiyuki is nicknamed Zen, which is an alternate reading of the kanji for Yoshi. He seems to be afraid of Sawako and the rumors surrounding her as Sadako. Early in the series, he falls ill and has to take a leave of absence from school. Because of that, students often believe that Sawako has cursed him. Arai is newlywed and eventually retires from teaching in order to help his wife's family business, resulting in Pin taking over his class permanently. CHA 25, Shino, voiced by Kanioki, the only link to Sawako's past. Shino was her elementary school classmate and the only person who Sawako talks to as the series begins. During elementary school, by mistake, Shino called Sawako Sadako. When they attended the same middle school, the boys in their class, afraid by Sawako's appearance, heard rumors that she was known as Sadako, and since then it became her nickname. It is because of this, that Shino feels guilty about the rumors circulating over Sawako that started from her calling her Sadako. Thus she cares about Sawako and whether she is fitting into high school. Shino is in a different class and regrets that she doesn't get to see Sawako very much. She is a cipher, appearing only occasionally as a catalyst for Sawako's interactions with other people. Perhaps for story reasons, Sawako is too modest to consider her as a friend. According to Shōjo, Shino was an unnamed character in the manga, but was named by the staff for the anime. Shōjo also wrote that Shino-chan in the anime is really cute. Vol. A10, Author's Note 4, Chigusa Takahashi, voiced by Yurin, a classmate of Sawako. Takahashi sits behind Sawako after the seating arrangements change for the third term of first year. She enjoys teasing Sawako and Arin remarks that Takahashi is eccentric. According to Shōjo, she was just Takahashi-san in the manga, but has the given name Chigusa in the anime show and from volume 10 onwards. Vol. A10, Author's Note 4, Yagi, a classmate of Sawako who sits next to her after the seating arrangements change during the third term of first year. He often consults her on supposedly spiritual or occult concerns. Moji is a new character introduced in the recent chapters of the manga. He is a boy from Class 2B. In Chapter 54, he asks Arin to date him, to which she immediately agrees. Arin breaks up with him in Chapter 59. Manga, originally planned on being a one-shot to be compiled in her previous work, Crazy for You, Shōjo decided to expand the story and make it into a full series. CHA 1. Author's Note: it has been running in Japan in Bessatsu Margaret since the September 2005 issue of the magazine, with 21 compiled volumes as of March 25, 2014. Shōjo took a break starting in the March 2009 issue to have a baby. Serialization resumed in the October issue. The series is licensed by Viz Media for an English-language North American release. Light novels: Kimi ni Todoke has been adapted into 2 series of light novels in Japan released by Shueisha, one under their Cobalt imprint and one under their newer Mirai Bunko imprint. 11 volumes have been released so far in the Cobalt imprint series. The first was released on August 1, 2007 and most recent on March 1, 2012. They are being written by Kani Shimokawa, who also novelized the Nana movie and Yukin Club. CHA 26, Author Note Number 2, 5 volumes of the Mirai Bunko version have been released thus far. The first on March 1, 2011 and most recent on April 5, 2011. A separate volume was released September 11, 2009. The volume took the place of the manga in Bessatsu Margaret magazine while Karuho Shiina took a break due to her pregnancy. It contains the story of Ketsuya and Sawako's first meeting, before the events of the manga. Cobalt imprint volumes, Mirai Bunko imprint volumes, video game. Banpster released a game for the Nintendo DS in Japan based upon the series on October 16, 2009, entitled Kimi ni Todoke Sodateru Omoi. A second Nintendo DS game, also from Banpster, was released in the spring of 2011 under the title Kimi ni Todoke Tsuteru Kimochi Anime. The first season of the Kimi ni Todoke anime adaptation aired between October 2009 and March 2010. A second season was announced in the November 2010 issue of Betsuma Magazine. The second season aired in Japan on NTV on January 2011. Both seasons of the anime are produced by Production I.G and directed by Hiroki Baraoji. The music is done by SENS Project, with the opening sung by Tomoifumi Tanyazawa and the ending by Chera. NIS America announced at Anime Expo 2011 that they have licensed the first season of Kimi ni Todoke. They released the first season on DVD Blu-ray on January 10, 2012, and released the second season later that year. Live-action film. The February 2010 issue of Bessatsu Margaret announced that a live-action film adaptation of the series had been approved. Mikako, Tabe and Haruma Miura starred in the film, released in Japanese theaters on September 25, 2010 and directed by Naoto Kumazawa. The live-action movie was released on Blu-ray and DVD on March 11, 2011. Reception. Manga. Volumes of the series commonly rank in listings of top-selling manga in Japan. At the debut of the 12th volume, all 12 of the current volumes were ranked on Oricon's list of 100 best-selling manga for the week. According to Anime News Network, Kimi ni Todoke is now the shōjo manga with the most number 1 books and the most books to sell 1 million copies since 2008 in Japan. The series was the third best-selling manga series in Japan in 2010, with 6,572,813 copies sold. As of the release of the 16th volume in May 2012, Kimi ni Todoke will have reached a total of over 20 million copies in print. In 2013, Kimi ni Todoke sold over 3.4 million copies, placing 11th on Oricon's best-selling manga series for that year. Anime News Network called the series hands down one of the best new English-translated manga series of 2009, and suggested that everyone, not just shōjo manga fans, read the series. The first volume of the series was listed as a hot fall graphic novel for libraries in the teen section by YALSA. The series was also listed in the Best Comics for Teens category of the School Library Journal's Best Comics for Kids in 2009 list. Kimi ni Todoke has also been included on the American Library Association's list of 2010 Great Graphic Novels for Teens. Live action. According to Oricon, the series was listed as third on a list of titles that Japanese readers wanted a drama adaptation for. The live-action movie adaptation opened at second place in Kogyo Shinshi's box office chart during its first week in Japanese theaters. The movie was number 3 on Box Office Mojo's chart during its first 2 days, earning the equivalent to $2,770,613 on 285 screens. Anime. Many of the first season volumes have sold well in the first week of release to be ranked on the weekly Oricon sales chart for Japan's animation DVDs. The second season of the anime was number 1 in a poll of Dengeki Online readers as their most anticipated anime series debuting in January 2011. Anime News Network reviewer Carl Kimlinger gave the second season 4.5 out of 5 stars, saying, "This remains the finest series of its type since Lovely Complex, and the most beautiful since. Well, I don't know when." Japanese viewers voted it the most enjoyable anime of the winter 2011 season during a poll taken just before the season ended. References. Kimi ni Todoke manga volumes by Shiina, Karuho. Original Japanese version published by Shueisha. English translation published by Viz Media. External links. Kimi ni Todoke at Anime News Network's Encyclopedia, Kimi ni Todoke at Anime News Network's Encyclopedia, Kimi ni Todoke second season at Anime News Network's Encyclopedia, Viz product page, official anime site.